y'all, it's your girl Jay Brianna, and I'm back at it again with another video. And today I'm gonna be finally doing my girl talk video. And I did do this video a while ago, and I tried to edit it on CapCut and it would not save to my phone, and I had to delete it and trying to start over. But that video was very chaotic, and I was cooking and doing a girl talk video, so I may still post it because I'm not going to be answering the same questions. But for now, we're just going to go with the flow and do this one. But yeah, so I asked y'all some questions on my TikTok a while ago, and I never got a chance to do this video. And since y'all gave me 400 subscribers, and we're growing so fast, so I'm going to do this video for y'all. So yeah, so let's hop right into it.
On my knee, all this big games, hop off a chick, and they get rich. Let's do no more, I get a check. You still run.
Okay, y'all, so I got my computer and we're gonna answer these questions right now. So, first question I'm gonna be answering is it cute to be delusional? Absolutely not, guys. I know that nowadays it's become a trend to like, oh, be delusional, like, oh, I want you, all that type of stuff. But you do not have to be delusional. I feel like sometimes it could be kind of like a cry for help. And I know that sounds like corny or like just like kind of like completely dismissing everything that comes with being delusional. Like, some people are actually delusional, but I feel like nowadays it's just become something that people refer to when it's like the situation has become boring, or they feel like they need that person in their life and they know better. And half the time I really feel like y'all know better, but y'all just choose to be delusional. So it's a difference between choosing to be delusional and being delusional because you're actually mentally ill. And I just feel like a lot of you guys are choosing. But that's just my personal opinion. But no, it is absolutely not cute to be delusional. So please don't if you have that option. All right, this next question says, is it wrong to like somebody else and you love them heavy, but you can't get your ex out of your mind? I don't want her back, but like what? Okay, so no, it's not wrong because that person is an ex for a reason. Like, there is a reason why y'all didn't work out. And I just feel like a lot of the time people feel guilty when it's time to move on. Maybe there's still some connections left in that past relationship that you feel like you could still hold on to, or maybe even like help fix that relationship. Maybe y'all just went through something and y'all broke up because of it, and you think that you can fix it, or if you don't like move on, then it's like a problem. But it is completely normal and completely right to move on after an ex. And I feel like the person is going to be in your mind because you haven't had anybody else to focus on. And I feel like when you try to jump right into focusing on somebody else instead of trying to focus on yourself is when you start to feel guilty, because it's like you haven't healed from loving this person. You haven't healed from whatever your relationship went through. So you have to be able to take that into account and say, okay, I just feel like maybe I should take a step back instead of trying to completely rush into somebody else and try to give them the love that I was trying to give my ex. Then maybe I should put some of that into myself. You can still like somebody. I'm not saying you can't, but at least make sure that you know that you're focusing on yourself while you're still liking that other person. What do you do if a boy is using you for your body and you're scared to like tell? I feel like it depends on the type of situation that you're in. The first thing that I would say, and I know this may be another question, so I'm just gonna go ahead and answer like right now. To like when you get into a relationship, make sure that you establish your boundaries. Make sure you establish things, your expectations, all of that type of stuff, because everybody goes into a relationship with a different vision. I know that it is common for your, like, when you're in a couple, not when you're in a couple, but when you're a couple, you're dating somebody, you expect them to be on the same page as you. But that is not always the case. Some people may be, you know, more sexually active or whatever, but you may not be wanting that. So, and that's perfectly fine. Like, I feel like you are able to be in a relationship with somebody who may be on that type of time and you're not. Y'all just have to learn how to work together and be cohesive, because let me tell you, if you do not tell these people what you expect, they're going to expect that you want exactly what they want. But if you let them know, like, hey, like, I'm not really on that, like, right now. Even if you feel like maybe further into the relationship, you may feel like you are going to be okay with doing certain things. At least let that person know, like, you know, usually I don't really do X, Y, Z. In the beginning of a relationship, I just feel like once we start to, and honestly, I don't know if I would say once we start to get to know each other, just tell them, like, you're not on that. Because if you tell them, like, oh, maybe like when we get more into a relationship, I feel like that makes you an easy target of saying, like, you know, some people may take that and say, oh, well, if she don't want me now, maybe I'll just get closer to her. And then that's that situation when, you know, they get what they want and leave. So I feel like you just have to be very careful about who you're talking to, who you get into a relationship with. Make sure that y'all are on the same page. But to answer the question right here is, you have to be able to let that person go. I don't care if you have to block them. I don't care if you see them every day. Blocking somebody does not make it awkward. Like, you have to, like, we all, including myself, we have to get out of this, like, headspace, like, blocking somebody, letting somebody go makes a situation negative, makes it this and that. You are blocking that person for your peace. So I just feel like if there's a boy who is using you for your body, please, like, block them, do whatever you have to do, let them go. Like, that is not a relationship. Relationships are not supposed to be just, you know, doing stuff sexually. It's supposed to be a connection through the body and through the heart. Not through the body, but, you know, like, through your heart. Like, y'all are supposed to be connecting on more of a spiritual level, an emotional level, not sexually. So make sure, and you need to tell these people, because I feel like if we don't tell these people, like, you know, I'm not on that, you really trying to force it on me. And a lot of people may not feel comfortable with that. Like, I know me personally, I'm not very confrontational, but when I get into certain situations, I'm very, like, I'm not on that. Like, we not finna be, like, I don't even know your last name. Like, what's really going on? So we just have to be, like, make sure that we're very careful about who we decide to get involved with, but be honest. Let that person know what you want in the beginning of a relationship, and then they can't say, oh, I didn't know. Like, you knew. And if they choose to, you know, like, completely dismiss what you told them, then that's when it's time for you to go. And do not feel bad for leaving somebody like that. All right? Okay, the next question is love real in your teen years? Yes, I feel like it is 100% real. I feel like when we're young, like, we're always told, like, you know, love isn't real, like, that's just puppy love or whatever, but we start loving stuff as soon as we are born. We love our parents, we love our toys. We start loving stuff from the moment that we are born. And I just feel like when people are telling us, oh, that's not real love, I feel like that is when our brains start to get like I feel like I love this person, but you're telling me. Nobody can tell you who you love. Me personally, I feel like love is real. You just have to find it, and don't go searching for it. Like, let it come naturally to you. But yeah, we have to, I was just like, oh, another thing, like, we have to know how to differentiate love from lust, because I just feel like that is very common to get misunderstood and mixed up in this generation. I feel like, oh yeah, I love him or whatever. And we may just love what they do for us, but we don't actually love them as a person. So as long as you're loving someone as a person, I feel like it is completely reasonable to be in love or whatever. Yeah. Okay. Gonna answer is, how do you get over someone? My favorite thing to say is blocking them. And I know a lot of us will be like, oh, and I'm guilty of this too. I'll be like, oh, I'm not gonna block them on social media because I want them to see, like, how good I'm doing, whatever. But you're still gonna be thinking about that person, like, oh, well, did he watch my story? Like, did he see what I'm doing? And then after a while, it gets to a point where you're continuously trying to prove yourself to this person that you're moved on or whatever. So I just feel like to get over someone, I would say block them. Try to completely remove them from your life. Don't try to, you can be cordial with somebody. Like, just because you block them or you lose contact doesn't mean you guys have to become enemies. It's just a point where I'm going to block you because of my peace. Like, I need peace for myself, so I have to give it to myself. And you're trying to stay in contact with you will not do that. And I know a lot of the times when we get out of relationships, people are like, oh, well, we can still be friends. And that is not the case for everybody. Everybody cannot revert back to what they were before the relationship if y'all were friends, or even just trying to, you know, be friends. Because I've heard people say, like, it's really hard to be friends with someone that you were in love with, like, in that way. So me, I would just say trying to start loving yourself, focusing on yourself, doing things that you know you love, find something that you're passionate about. And I feel like all of that will really help you get over someone, because I feel like we're always holding on to people because we feel like we can't be alone. So if you find yourself in that situation, just try talking about it and trying to, like, overcome it just by putting the love that you're trying to give to them into yourself. Okay, so how to get rid of procrastination and have a habit of consistency instead. I can't say that word right now, but you know, y'all know what I mean. And for me, I feel like I am not a procrastinator. I feel like I always get what I have to do done. And I feel like a lot of times people are like, oh, I can do it later, I can do it tomorrow, or I'll do it then. But my thing is, I always think to myself, like, if I do it now, I will not have to do it later. Like, just think about, like, when I'm doing stuff, I think, okay, if I do this now, then I could go out later. Even college, I feel like if you can do your work at school, do it. Do not wait till you get home, because I promise you, when you get home, you're not going to want to be doing homework and all of this type of stuff. And if you are taking like any online classes or taking a class where it's kind of like you could work ahead, be working ahead, because I promise you, if you had an entire school year, you could do whatever you wanted to do, work on your own time. Do not wait until the end of the school year or try to do stuff like sporadically throughout the time. If you do it all at the beginning, think about how much time you're going to have at the end. So I would just say set schedules, write out checklists, put them places where you know that you're going to remember. If you're not going to remember it on your phone, make it your lock screen. Like, do something like that. Write it down. Do whatever. And the second thing is always think to yourself, like, imagine what I could be doing. Don't think, oh, what could I be doing now instead of that. Think like, what can I do later if I don't do it, if I do it now. Y'all get what I'm saying? Like, yeah, that's what I was saying. Okay. Next question. When in a relationship, how do you communicate in a way that doesn't get too deep or took the wrong way? For me, I would say that when I first get into a relationship, I kind of like to ask a person like questions about how they are on communication. Like, let that person, like, when you're getting a relationship, always communicate what you want to work on, like what things that you're not that strong in. So like me personally, I feel like I am strong in communication, but there's some people who aren't. And so you get in that relationship, you like talk to them like, hey, like, I just feel like I'm not good at communicating. Like, it doesn't even have to be like going into a deep conversation. Like, you can like send them a TikTok or something, and it'll just say something about communication, and just see what their response is to that. And you have to kind of know the person that you're in a relationship with, but you won't know everything at the beginning. It takes time to get to know somebody. So I would just say, me, like, the easiest way sometimes for me is I'll just like send a TikTok, and it'll kind of, because you know those questions on TikTok, like, what would you do if this, or tell me like red or blue, like something like that. But it'll be based on something that you feel like you want to talk to them about, and then you'll kind of get a sense of where their head is at if you're not a confrontational type of person. And then also avoid doing stuff through text. If you can't do it in person, at least do it on the phone, because I've been in so many situations where text can be taken the wrong way because you're reading that in your voice, not theirs, or you're reading it in a way of how you feel at that moment. So yeah. How do you learn to start loving yourself more? So I feel like loving yourself is a very, very complicating thing to do, especially if you're not coming from a household or a family that is constantly telling you like you're beautiful, you're smart, you're powerful, you can do whatever you want. And I would say one thing that helps is if you really feel like you need some guidance, I'm not telling you guys don't talk to adults, but I just feel like it's way more powerful when you're talking to someone that's your age and that's somewhere that is truly inspirational. Like, not people that are just on Instagram and they get a lot of followers and just because they're pretty, but when you start looking for guidance and like someone to help mentor you and people who are actually doing something meaningful, a lot of the time, those people who have been there, they're pretty, but they're actually doing something with their life. Those people will help you because they've been where you are. But instead of just using their looks to get ahead, they've dug deep and found their passion, and that's where they become the person that they are today. So I would say start taking self-care days, like join a mentoring group, or try to find someone that's kind of like a guidance counselor, but they don't have to be your counselor. Just somebody that you can talk to on those days when you're feeling like you can't love yourself, feeling like you're not worth anything. I would also say find something that you're passionate about, because a lot of the times we can express ourselves very well in the things that we do. If it's sports, basketball, drawing, art, whatever you need, dance, cheer, all of those things can help boost your confidence, and you're starting to realize like, wait a minute, I actually have a purpose, and you're going to start loving yourself. And when you feel like you're not loving yourself, do not get into a relationship or try to get involved with somebody. And even if they're not involved and you're just trying to, have fun, don't do it, because then you're trying to find the love that you're lacking inside of yourself and everybody else. And when they're not giving it to you, you're just going to move on. Then that person's not giving it to you, then you're going to move on again. And it's like you're going through all of these processes. You're asking yourself, like, why are they not loving me? Because you don't love yourself. People are only going to treat you as good as you treat yourself. They're only going to love you as much as you love yourself. And I'm not saying that you need to meet that person's love. You need to love yourself more. So always put yourself first. That is the number one thing. Always put yourself first, even if it hurts the other person. Not in a bad way. I'm saying, like, put yourself first. Like, if you feel like, oh, I'm leaving them behind, or I'm being selfish, sometimes it is completely okay to put yourself first, because there is always somebody. You never know what somebody's true intentions are. They're going to try to make you feel guilty, but you cannot feel guilty for putting yourself first. And that is the first step to loving yourself. How do you get better at communicating when you feel like that other person won't understand? I feel like a lot of the times we do not communicate or tell people how we feel because it's always that mindset of, they're not going to understand what I'm going through, so what's the point of me telling them? Or even some people will say, like, saying you understand, but you really don't. Like, you've never been in my shoes. But I know me personally, I'm always telling someone, like, when they're telling me what they say, like, I understand, because there are actually people in this world, whether you know it or not, that truly do understand. Because I feel like, me personally, I channel people's energy, like, in their, like, I feel like I channel what people are going through. Because, like, when somebody is telling me stuff, like, even in my poetry, half of the stuff that I write about, I've never even been through it. But I just feel like when I'm reading stuff and people are always coming to me, talking to me about their problems, it's kind of a bad thing, but I just feel like I always, like, take on, like, their baggage. And people, I'm just saying, people will understand whether they went through it or not. Like, it's kind of a common thing for people to say, like, oh, I understand, I get what you mean, or whatever. But some people who are saying that truly do mean it. They may not tell you their story, or they may not communicate that in that moment, but I promise you they will understand. So just go for it. Take the risk, even if you feel like they're not going to understand you. Because communication, I feel like if you're not strong with it not coming out of the womb, but, you know, from early on, it's going to be very hard for you to do when you get older. But you will have to take that first step, because you'll never know where it's going to take you. Next question. How exactly do you realize your potential? I just feel like you have to try new things. Unless you're coming from a household that is continuously putting that stuff into you, and not people, because I feel like my mom has never told me what I needed to be when I get older. She's always let me kind of figure that out on my own. And I know a lot of people are like, oh, I want to be a doctor or a lawyer, but it's like, why? Oh, my parents are, or my parents told me that I should because of the money. But I feel like if we stop chasing money and start chasing happiness, then we're going to realize our potential way sooner than we thought. A lot of people that are older, they get in these jobs and they're miserable for years, and they reach like 60 years old, or they're 50, and it's like they finally found what helps them. Like, if it's teaching or substituting or helping kids or whatever, they're like, I've wasted all these years working in a factory and my real passion is here. So you have to find something that you are passionate about. And you will not find that out until you try new things, go to events, go to different programs. And if you're, like I was saying, I kind of got off track, but if your parents are not doing it for you, make sure you take those steps. Join clubs at your school, because those people are going to help you get connected and show stuff. And you don't have to do it forever. If you don't try it out and give it a full, thorough, you know, like, don't go in like, I'm not going to like it, whatever, because then your mind's already like, no. But if you really go in with an open heart, open mind, then you never know what you may discover. So I would say try new things. Make sure that you're putting yourself out there, you know, trying out whatever you have to do. And don't become so focused on, oh, I got to find something that's going to make me, like, to be great or make me rich. Yeah, find something that makes you happy. Because if you're not happy, there's no point in doing it. No matter how good the money is, you're always going to be miserable. You can be rich and miserable. I would rather be making minimum income, not minimum, but, you know, like medium wage or whatever, and be happy, living a happy life, having a balanced life, than being rich and there's nothing there. So that's just me. Okay. How did you get into public speaking for mental health, or just public speaking in general? Okay. So I know that I would refer to myself as a public speaker, but honestly, I really haven't had that many public speaking engagements. But it's also because I did just start this journey. But I would just say I've been in a lot of programs, like I was just saying, and I will always like raise my hand and answer questions and just give my side of the story. And a lot of the times people are going to notice you when you put yourself out there. And even if it's vulnerable, even if you feel like you're not making any sense, I will like literally go to like organizations and get asked like questions on the spot. I'm like, I just didn't make any sense. Like what did I just say? Then I have people coming up to me, oh, that was so powerful. Like, wow, like I really resonated with that. So I would just say I just kind of just started answering questions, being in programs, like putting myself out there really. But it was really my mom too. She was putting me out there. But yeah. Is being overly caring a good or bad thing? Because I keep bringing up something that bothers me and it might get draining for him. So being overly caring, honestly, is kind of, I would say, in the middle. You just kind of have to know the person that you're with and know like, okay, something's not right. Let me try to talk to them. And if you it's been like that for a while and you keep trying, it might be time to take a step back and see if maybe they'll start coming to you. And if they don't, you maybe have to take some more steps back out the door, because sometimes you start to blind yourself when you're so focused on them. Oh, are you okay? Are you this and that? We don't even realize that we're not okay. Like I feel like there's something wrong with me because I've been trying so hard to get this person to notice me and they haven't. Like, what's wrong with you? Why won't they talk to me? But then you go out and you see them talking to someone else and treating other people the same. And then it's like with you, it's kind of like a thing. So you just have to know that type of person. But honestly, I know I said it's in the middle, but I just feel like being overly caring is a good thing, because I would just say be cautious when you're being caring for someone. Make sure that they care for you back, because care and empathy and all of those type of things are a two-way street. How to get confidence back when your insecurities are taking over. The number one thing that I would say, in our generation, we're very big on social media and all of that type of stuff. And me personally, I feel like what raised my confidence was like reading little quotes, like reciting them back to myself. And I know it may be corny, but I promise you it works. Like, because if you're telling yourself, like, I know I'm her, like, I know I'm him or whatever. I mean, I'm not saying you have to exude that and like tell people like, oh, I'm her, I'm him all the time, because then you just come off as cocky. But sometimes you have to be cocky, like on the inside. Like, you have to know, I'm better than this. I'm pretty, I'm beautiful. Affirmations. Please start saying those. And I have one that I wrote a while back, and I'll post that so y'all can say it. Put it on your mirror, put it somewhere where you know that you're gonna say it. Even if you're not saying it out loud and you feel like it's weird, you could say it in your head, like just read it back to you. Another thing that helped for me, it's the same thing, but I'll tell y'all how I got to it. I type up on Twitter, not Twitter, you can use Twitter, I just don't know how to work Twitter, it's complicated. But Pinterest, I just look up like bad daddy quotes, bro. I promise y'all it's gonna help you, because I just feel like insecurities is just the devil in your ear telling you, oh, this is ugly, or they're looking at that. Honestly, half the time, half of the things that we feel like are ugly, people aren't even worried about. They're not even looking at that. Like me personally, I feel like I don't have a lot of insecurities, but like I really don't like my side profile. I look a mess. But there are days where I feel like it's cute, but most of the time I just no. But it takes time to get your confidence back, but you just have to make sure that you're loving yourself. And I know I keep saying that, but it's really the key to a lot of things. Like, make sure you know you're pretty. Do not look for it in other people. Stop looking for validation. Men, boys, friends, not friends, girls, whatever. Don't look for validation in people, because people are not going to tell you what you want to hear all the time. Said, people are only going to like you as much as you like yourself. If you don't like yourself, why they gonna like you? If you don't love yourself, why are they gonna love you? So if you don't think you're pretty, why would anybody else think you're pretty? Just think of it that way. Like, I have to, even if I don't fully believe it yet, keep telling it to yourself, because I promise you, consistency helps. So yeah, take pictures, look at quotes, affirmations, whatever you want to call it. Take self-care days. Make sure you know you keep yourself to the standard that you have for yourself. Because I know that was kind of confusing sentence, but some people may not like getting their hair did. They may just like being natural or whatever. So be that. Like, be comfortable within yourself. Don't try to go out and be other people, because it does show that you're insecure. Like, because you're trying to fit in, that's not even you, and then you don't like yourself, then other people don't like you. So all of that stuff makes a difference. It's the small stuff that helps get to the bigger stuff. How do you know when you're ready for a relationship? How do you know when you found the right person for a relationship? Or how do you know that you found the right person for a relationship? So I just feel like a lot of the times we don't realize that we're ready for a relationship because we don't. I just feel like you can't get into a relationship until you love yourself. Like, know yourself, know what upsets you, know what kind of boundaries you want to set going forward in your life. Because we allow people to come in when we're still hurting, we're still healing, and it's kind of like we're not giving that person the best version of ourselves. If you feel like you cannot truly give somebody what they deserve, do not get into that relationship. There are some instances where you can get into a relationship and still build, like, but you have to communicate that with the person. Let them know, like, hey, I'm still overcoming this situation. But that does not give you an excuse to go out and talk to other people and then I'm healing, or I don't really know. No. Because a lot of y'all have common sense. You know what's right or wrong. And then when you have to explain it, it's wrong. If you're trying to let them see how that situation was, it worked for you, but you knew it's wrong because you're trying to come back and explain to me, oh, well, it's not like that or whatever. It's wrong. And you know it. So people can't use healing as an excuse to hurt you. Oh, I didn't know what I was doing. I was in a bad situation and my mind wasn't right. Your mind wasn't right, but your mind was right enough to do the bad thing, but it wasn't right enough to do the good thing. There's a difference between reverting back to old situations and us hurting new people. We have to stop looking at people as, oh, all boys are bad, so I'm going to cheat on all of them. No, like, just because somebody hurts you, then someone may come into your life, the best person. It could be your soulmate. And then you completely discard that person because you are hurting. So do not get into a relationship if you're still healing from something, because it will rub off into that relationship. And then in that relationship, you're only going to see that negative view of that person from the last relationship. Like, they may do something that reminds you of them, and all of a sudden you lost feelings completely. And it's just because they reminded you of something that you haven't completely healed from. So you will know when you are ready, when you feel like you're able to be in a situation and not, fall out over it or take it hard. So that's what I feel like personally. When that person makes me feel like I'm a child again. And I know I'm still young, but when I say a child, I just mean like how we all used to be, like when we were like very little, and it's how like we were so innocent in the world. Like, I just feel like love is innocent. I just feel like we go into it not knowing what to expect, but you don't expect bad, like you expect good. Like in this current relationship that I'm in, I haven't, like in our beginning of our relationship, I did not feel like he was like gonna cheat on me or anything like that. And that's how I knew that I felt like I was ready for a relationship, because I wasn't completely like, oh, what if he does this? What if he do that? Like, he's not texting me back. He's probably cheating on me or whatever. But I just feel like that person is right when they do not give you all of that negativity in your mind. Like, but I know y'all heard the saying, like, a man is gonna, I keep saying a man because that's what I like. But, if you like girls or whatever, it's cool. But I'm just gonna say men because, yeah. But, like, if a man will treat a woman right if that is who he truly wants. And we've been in so many situations where we've seen somebody like treating someone great, and then you look back at your relationship and they treated you like trash, and you've been telling them like, this is all I wanted, why couldn't you be that for me? It's because that was not the right person for you. And do not blame yourself for choosing the wrong person. It is normal to choose the wrong person in our lives. We are made to make mistakes. Like, we were always not gonna get it right the first time. It's okay. Get up and try it again. Like, take your time, heal, but try again. Like, don't give up on love, especially if you're still young, you're in high school, middle school, whatever. Do not give up on love, because you have the rest of your life. These people are young. We all don't know what we're doing. We just trying to go with the flow. So you'll know you found the right person when you feel like you can truly be yourself. You feel like a kid again. You feel like there is no other problems in the world when you guys are together. Even if you guys are just talking on the phone, you completely lose sight of any other negativities that could happen in your life. So yeah. How to come out of your shell and be more confident, comfortable, and open. So I'm saying this from someone who is very shy. And I just feel like a lot of people have anxiety and stuff like that, and they don't realize it. Like, it's okay to be shy, but, and I know, like, for me personally, when I first meet people, I was like, oh, I thought you were mean, I thought you were stuck up, or all that little stuff. But then they get to know me and they actually talk to me. It's like, oh, you're not any of that. Like, I'm crazy for thinking that or whatever. So I also feel like the real reason why a lot of us do not come out of our shell is because we're afraid of being embarrassed. And I literally was telling, like, Braylon this. I'm like, bro, like, do you, like, believe in embarrassment? It's like, because, like, I'm always thinking, like, oh, that's so embarrassing. Like, it's so awkward. And it's really not. Like, nobody else is thinking that. It's all in your mind. Like, we don't, like, I know a lot of times me, I'm like, oh, I'm not gonna go up and talk to her. Like, she's probably gonna think I'm weird or stuff. Like, we have to stop thinking stuff is embarrassing, weird, all of that stuff, because people probably do not care. They do not care. They will probably be more, like, open to you, because if we're just sitting back, like, not talking to anybody, like, oh, like, you know, and I'm saying all this, but I know I do this all the time, but it's just like, I know that I have to take that step and talk to people, but it's hard sometimes. Like, it's scary. Like, I'm like, and people are mean. Like, people are so, like, sometimes you'll try to talk to someone and they completely, like, no. And that's what I was talking about, those people where I don't need new friends. I mean, people, sometimes you're gonna hear the word no, and you have to learn how to accept that and not take it internally. Some people are just nasty, some people are just rude, or some people just prefer to be alone. But you have to be able to take the step, like I said, because you'll never know what direction it may take you. So just, like, take that step to go up to someone and say hi, or, you know, I like your shoes, like your shirt, and just always talk to them. Don't be overly giving compliments, though, because after a while it starts to get a little, you for real, or you just trying to talk to me? But yeah, just try to take that step. Just say, hey, like, what's your name? My name is Jade, or, you know, just be open and be honest with yourself. It's okay to let people talk about you, but you don't want to cut them off because you just want somebody to talk to. Absolutely not. We have to stop holding on to people because we feel like we cannot be alone. You can. I promise you, you can. And I've been in situations where it's like, oh, I don't want to cut her off. I gotta see her every day, or I don't want to stop talking to him because I have to see him anyway. So what's the point? There's a point. When you, like I keep saying, once you lose contact with someone, they will be on your mind for a while. You always remember what they did or how the situation went, but you kind of give yourself a peace of mind because I'm not allowing you to treat me like this. I am not putting someone in my life to treat me bad. And if I give you that space and the opportunity to come into my life and be a friend or a boyfriend or a girlfriend, and then you completely take that opportunity and throw it in the trash, I'm not going to continue to let you walk all over me. Like, you have to let these people know, because if they keep doing it to you, they're probably doing it to someone else. And you have to know, like, okay, I have to tell this person about themselves. Even if they don't change, you will know inside your heart that I did what I could. Like, that's all I can do. I can't change the world, but at least I could change that fact that they think they could walk all over me. And now I've shown you that I'm not the one. So, no. Please do not let people talk about you just because you feel like you have to have some friends. Like, I'm gonna just give a short, quick little story. Like, this past year, I had this friend, and, you know, me personally, I'm not kind of shy. Like, I don't really go up to people and talk to them or whatever. And I met her, and I'm new to the school, so, you know, we were both, like, sitting together all the time and stuff like that. And our friendship kind of started taking a toll, like, downhill. Like, it wasn't the same as it was when it first started. And I was just like, okay, I'm gonna just, like, stop talking to her or whatever like that. But it's like, I didn't want to, because I was gonna see her every day at lunch. I was gonna see her all the time. So it was like, there's no point in me trying to cut off a friendship and I'm gonna see her. So I'll just stay cordial or whatever. But honestly, I feel like it was affecting me, because I cut people off. I don't care. Like, I care, but I don't care to cut you off. But I care about what you did, because, like, why you do that? But I kept trying to hold on to this friendship, not because I needed it, but also because, like, I didn't want to be sitting in the cafeteria alone. Like, I'm just like, oh, that's embarrassing, so I'm gonna just continue to sit here. We would have days when we wouldn't even talk to each other. We would just be sitting there staring at each other like stupid. And there was a point where I'm like, okay, I'm gonna just, because I know that I'm very bad at forgiving people and giving people second chances. So I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna, like, try to talk to her again. Like, it was a new year. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna just try to salvage our friendship. didn't work, got awkward again. And I noticed how she isn't like that with everybody else. So it's a difference when there's somebody is just like that in general. That's just their personality. But when I see you interacting with other people and giving other people a treatment that I'm not getting, and I know I didn't do anything to you, then it's kind of like, okay, well, I don't think this is gonna work. And it's okay to let people go. And I did not want to sit by myself in that lunchroom. But after a while, I'm like, you know what? Nobody really cares. Like, I would look around the lunchroom and see people eating by themselves, and those people are in their own little world, watching their shows, whatever. And I would literally sit by myself the rest of the school year, because it's just like people, and then nobody really care. Like, okay, people are gonna say stuff like, oh, why you sitting by yourself or whatever. It's just like, and then those people who are asking you why you sitting by yourself, and then they don't come sit with you, why you asking me? If you ain't gonna sit with me, then don't ask me, because I just feel like it's weird. Like, don't try to fake care about me. If you really care, then you would come and, you know, like, have lunch with me, like, maybe once a week or something. But people who will ask you, oh, where your friends at, or whatever, and then they completely walk past you and go sit down with a whole other group of people, instead of asking you, oh, you want to come join us or something like that, them people ain't for me. So, yeah. Just say, like, avoid thinking that it's going to be awkward, it's going to be embarrassing, because you're going to continue to get hurt and let that person hurt you, and that is not good. So I would just say, whoever that person is, go and get the scissors, baby. Go and get the scissors. What's a key appointment for a healthy relationship? I would say that what's a key appointment for a healthy relationship? Communication. And make sure that you guys are actually doing stuff, like not just going to each other's house. Actually go out and try new stuff, not parties, not the movies, like actually go out. And in this generation, it's so rare for people to actually want to go out and do stuff. Even if it's 30 minutes away, take that drive once a month. It's not going to hurt you. I promise you. Like, if you, okay, it's fine. If you have to, like, you really have to go to that person's house only or whatever, make sure y'all are not just laying up all the time. Like, play games, have a game night. Like, I would say have a movie night, but you can't really talk to someone and build a bond with someone if y'all are just watching movies all the time. So yeah, play games with them, try new things, go to the zoo, do stuff that you've always wanted to do, or just research things, because I just feel like that will help keep your relationship fun, and it's not like, oh, this is boring. And if that person isn't down for that and they just want to lay up on you, go and get the scissors. Okay, y'all, that's the end of this video. Thank y'all so much again for 400 subscribers. And yes, I'm finally gonna post this, so yay for me. And let me know what other videos y'all like. Y'all, this was my first little girl talk type of video, so you know, I tried. And if it ain't work, we got time. Like, this is my first one, so I'm actually trying to start taking YouTube seriously, because I've always made videos and vlogs over the years, but I've never posted them because I'm like, oh, like, it's gonna be corny or whatever. Like I said, like, that embarrassment mindset, get out of that. Excuse me, y'all, I don't know what's going on. But yeah, thank y'all for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and share, and do all of that type of stuff. And I guess I'll see y'all next time.
Hands in my chest, Chanel dress, give up a mess. I eat a flesh, you know the rest.